UAB has a world-renowned medical center, more than $470 million a year in contract and grant support from the NIH, and more than 80 interdisciplinary research centers to our credit. Our MSTP pairs the most promising students with the most accomplished researchers and clinicians.
I think that training in the UAB Medical Scientist Training Program is easy to sell. Our medical scientist training program at UAB started as an MD Ph.D. program in 1986. It has been continuously funded as an MSTP program by the National Institute of Health since 1992. This continuous funding by the National Institute of Health is essentially a stamp of approval for the excellent training that we have given our physician scientists, who can then go out to other academic institutions in the United States and become leaders in their science and clinical areas.
I've had a lot of experience personally in MSTP training. In fact, of the 25 or so students that did their dissertation research in my laboratory, 15 were MD PhD students. So I feel a real commitment to this program. It's something that I've lived with for many years. I've lived with the joys of research training and the frustrations of it. I've helped students in their transitions back into medical school and then on to their further residency training. I've seen their careers develop in a satisfying kind of way. But you know, the real credibility about the MSTP program at UAB comes not from the deans, not from the faculty, it comes from the students. You need to hear from them.
In a year, the National Institutes of Health contributes over $500,000 to UAB's Medical Scientist Training Program. Dean Rich and the School of Medicine contribute $1,350,000. That's a huge vote of confidence in the quality of the program and the potential of our students.
I have heard people say that UAB is a very well-kept secret, but I think if you talk to people in the scientific and medical communities, you'll find that UAB has an outstanding reputation for training physician scientists. We have a very prestigious faculty here. We are very well supported financially by the NIH. We have some of the most technologically advanced resources and core facilities available. And I think that if you come here as a graduate student, you'll find that all of these resources are available to you in a very collaborative environment.
It was a colleague of mine from undergrad that first suggested that I look at Alabama. I'm originally from Maine and hadn't really hit my radar screen yet. So, you know, I got the interview and I started telling my folks, family members, friends that I was going down for an interview, and my mother said, "Oh, you what? Really? Are you sure?" And that was pretty common, aunts, uncles, etc. But then, of course, I started talking to some of the scientists and old mentors that I had worked for before, and they were all really excited and were really into the idea and thought, "Oh, that's great. I'm so glad you got an interview." And they all started rattling off old colleagues that they had that worked at UAB or trained at UAB, or, "Oh yeah, I did my own residency at UAB." So that made a big difference in my decision, and I found that to continue to be the case, that the scientists and physicians, you know, they all know what the opportunities are down here.
UAB does a good job of sealing the schism between medical research and a clinical aspect of medicine. I'm interested in infectious diseases and more specifically in pediatric and tropical medicine. And that's very time sensitive. You need to find a cure really quickly in order to stop an epidemic from happening. Translational medicine actually allows us to take what we see in the field and then analyze it in the lab and then bring it back to the field. I believe that translational medicine is the future, and UAB does a good job of teaching us that.
Our students work hard, and they work hard together. Science is a big field, and there's room enough for everyone. They cooperate and collaborate inside the lab and are nationally competitive outside of it.
I really have yet to walk down a hall at UAB where the doors are closed, or even if they are, you know you can knock, and really, you know, you can just kind of walk in and look for whomever you need. So it's kind of a campus-wide sense of an open door policy. And people talk all the time about all of the collaborations and discoveries that really start on the sidewalk and in the coffee shops. You know, I'm convinced that half of the big discoveries that come out of UAB start with conversations in Lucy's Coffee, and just sort of grow and build out of that.
UAB is a very open academic environment. Knowledge is freely exchanged among different labs and different peers. Your colleagues aren't your competitors, they're your peers and your friends. And you can always go up to someone and ask them a question if you have any doubts about anything. And that's just very different from what I've heard about other schools. And it just is a great way to learn because you feel very welcome, you feel very nurtured. It's a supporting environment, and I really think that's one of the places where UAB excels.
You see people always studying together, doing activities together, celebrating their birthday parties together, or if you need to move in, everyone's helping each other move in. But beyond the students, even with the professors, you also find that collegiality. You see with some of the members of the steering committee, we actually spend a lot of informal time with them. You will see them at the bars playing pool, or I play with Dr. Justman, play racquetball every now and then, and go to art museums, things like that. And I mean, it's something that's has nothing to do with school, nothing to do with grades or what classes we're taking. It's just getting to know some of the professors on an informal basis, which is very, very important, in our growth over these next 7-8 years in this program.
In the past 5 years, Birmingham has been named among the most affordable, the most livable, and the healthiest cities in the U.S., as well as one of the best cities to live, work, and play. Kind of puts that magic city thing into perspective.
The South is very charming. I'm one of the very few native Alabamians in our program, and having spent the majority of my young life in the South, I can tell you that it's a great place to live. The weather is nice, the people are really friendly, the pace of life down here is very relaxed and laid back. Your stipend in Birmingham, Alabama is very comfortable, so much so that many of us take the opportunity to make a small investment while we're here and buy a home or a townhouse. And it's just a nice place to live, and I think that this is very important to consider when you're applying to MST programs, because you are about to start 7 or 8 years of very intellectually rigorous training, and you need to be sure that your environment is comfortable while you're living there.
I like to tell people that I've chosen Birmingham twice. I came down here 3 years ago and started my MD Ph.D. And when I joined a lab, I was there for about 4 months and found out that my lab would be moving to the north. And I had a tough decision to make because I was pretty settled in Birmingham. And I really fell in love. I really began to like the city quite a bit. And it was a hard decision. There was a good program that I'd be switching into, but in the end I ended up choosing Birmingham again, and I'm really happy about it.
Birmingham is full of a lot of very interesting, diverse people, and they come from different walks of life, and they come to Birmingham for different reasons, and it makes the city a very interesting place. Birmingham has a lot to offer people in the program at different stages. I think when I first came here, it was a lot of fun being in a college town, and then as you grow up and as you move on in the program, you find different things interesting, and Birmingham has plenty of those kinds of things, and I think it's one of those few cities that really caters to a wide variety of people starting in their 20s and lasting into the mid-30s, and that's exactly when you're here in the program, and so it's a good place to be.
I'm from New Orleans, where we have a culture that's very, very well known. So I was looking, to see what Birmingham has to offer, and I was pleasantly surprised at, some of the local art scene here. One of the first weeks I was here, went to this thing called Art Walk, where basically many downtown businesses and lofts, they open up, and local artists from the Birmingham area, also all around Alabama and the southeastern United States, come and exhibit their work. Also in terms of theater and things like that, the Al Stevens Center on campus is great. They're always bringing in new shows, new artists.
Our students have received many national awards and consistently match into top residency programs across the U.S.
Our students are very competitive when they finish our MD Ph.D. program. They get almost all of them get their #1 choice in residency programs, and they can go on to do almost anything they want after they finish their training.
Well, the thing that really sells is for students to come and visit it. We can put up a nice website, but in the final analysis, it's the personal experience that you have on the campus. Who you go to dinner with, who you have a chance to talk to. So I'm encouraging students who are interested in the MSTP experience at UAB to come here, visit our campus, talk to the faculty, talk to the students. You'll be convinced.
Visit our website to learn how you can be a part of UAB's Medical Scientist Training Program.